Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Schwa Mill, where every single Saturday at this time, we help you craft your accent to help you sound even more natural in American English. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the four key ingredients to getting a more natural sound for your pronunciation. Something that we're going to be talking about a lot today, I imagine, as we listen to pronunciation files that you get to send to us because we listen to you and then we give you suggestions based on your specific pronunciation needs. Now, if you're interested in having your pronunciation looked at, I do want to walk through the steps that you can do that. One of the things you'll see is that if you look at the video description, there is a link to a Google document that I want to show you. Give me one sec. We'll go through the whole process together. Be a great learning experience for everybody. Okay, so this is the Google Doc. When you go to the video description, you'll see a link to a Google Doc. And what you can do is you're going to see already lots of people have sent us some files, which is great. We're excited to get to them. You're going to see up at the top, it says directions, choose one of the options below, visit vocaroo.com. What is this vocaroo.com? Well, vocaroo.com looks a little something like this. Okay. When you first log on to it, you're going to see a big red record button here. You're going to click that, and then you're going to have the option to record yourself. Once you finish, it'll say save, and it'll give you this link. You take the link, put it in our Google document, and that's it. Now, I would encourage you to also give us the text and also give us a name so we can refer to you. But that's really all you need to do. I will handle the rest. I'll be able to hear your file and give you some suggestions on your sounds. We'll try to keep it very, very simple. If you have questions about anything related to that, be sure to let me know. I'm also going to post the Google document. And one of the best things, too, is that this is the same document we use every single week. We purge it after the stream. So that way you guys can send us files for next week. Because maybe you're watching this in the future. Hello from the past. Or maybe today you're watching and you're like, oh, I like what's happening, but I'm nervous. I don't want to, I'm shy. It's like, oh. So what you can do is maybe during the week, you can have some time to practice or prepare and then send us the file. Typically it's open up Thursday or Friday. You can send in your file and then we'll have it ready for next week. So that would be something that we would certainly look forward to. As we go through this stream and things like that, just want to say some quick hellos. People are here. Edward is around. Good to see you, Edward. Shok is back in the house. Hello, Shok. Emmanuel is here as well. Hello, Emmanuel. I think that's covering our bases. And if you're here too, whether you're watching on the replay or you're watching live with me right now, say hi. We're friendly. We try to be, I think. Maybe. So that way we get to know you. Couple of quick announcements before we get into the fun stuff. So one of the things I mentioned already is that we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about concepts like placement and breath and other elements. And if you're not familiar with these things, that's okay. We all take time to learn new things about pronunciation. Okay, there's our document. Okay. So if these are new concepts for you and you're interested in really trying to take your pronunciation to the next level, if you guys go to fluentamerican.com, this is our website. I have something that's going to help you out immensely. It's going to make all the feedback we talk about today much more meaningful. Because if I say, hey, you need to lower your placement, and you're like, I don't know what placement is. Well, that's going to be a difficult task, right? So I encourage you at fluentamerican.com, if you scroll down, what we have is a free video course called 4-Step American Accent. All we need is your email so that way we can send you to class. And it's going to walk you through placement. It's going to walk you through breath. It's going to walk you through pitch. It's also going to walk you through trying to weaken your consonant sounds and trying to strengthen your vowel sounds. These are the fundamentals to achieving a natural sound. So our goal is to really help you out in that arena. And again, it's free. It's a free video course. This is like the most important aspects to sounding natural American English, and it's free. So I would love to get that to you. Another quick thing too, guys. So One of the things you may be noticing around the channel, I haven't been posting videos as much. I'll be honest, I have other kind of projects going on in different places. So I think the direction of the channel is probably going to be changing slightly. I still want to make long form videos occasionally, but one of the things that I'm experimenting with time wise is fewer long form videos on the channel, at least like kind of like edited long form videos. But one thing I would like to do is to set aside a time. I'm thinking Monday through Friday, or maybe 3 days a week. I'm still deciding. Where basically I take something from our Telegram group. In case you don't know, we have a group on Telegram where every single day I post a challenge group of words, and then you can send in your audio, and I give you feedback. So if you're looking for a little bit of feedback, kind of like today, but you want to do that every single day of the week, that's one option. Currently $5 a month. So we have our Telegram group that you can check out. But one thing I'd like to do is I'm thinking of doing a daily live stream Monday through Friday where we just look at the challenge from the Telegram group and kind of I just walk you through it. And then if you want feedback, then you can join the Telegram group and actually get feedback for yourself based on what I tell you. So that's kind of something I'm toying around with. If we do start it, I don't know if I'll start this week or next week, but it will be soon. So keep an eye out for that. Lots more live streams on the channel, but maybe some fewer long form videos aside from like clips and things like that. Do want to thank Emmanuel for the kind words. Chris Americos, if you guys are familiar English with Chris Americos, he came to town and we shot some videos together. So one of our most recent videos is talking with Chris. He also has a challenge going on that I'll keep you guys up to date on as I learn more. I do see that Finn is here. Hello to Finn. Good to see you, Finn. And Finn's going right out of the gate with a question. And Finn's asking, can the word just be pronounced with the vowel? Like ja, like buck, just. To me, I wouldn't probably expect it to be pronounced quite like that. I think that I would expect it more to be more either with the schwa or even just really reduces he's just almost even like with a short I sound. But I probably wouldn't get it to the schwa on its own. Good question. But personally, I probably wouldn't pronounce it that way. But I mean, that's not to say that other people don't. You know, if you feel like you're hearing that in other people's speech, maybe it could be that you're hearing that. I see that Emmanuel's saying that the video is a bit pixelated. Okay, I'll check that in a moment. And trying to think of other things going on. I think that's all I got. So in a moment, we'll get to people's files and things like that, which will be fun. Let me go check the video just to make sure, see if that's my end, see if that's other people's end. And then we'll get to people's stuff. If that's cool, say cool. Check out this waiting video while I just check things really quick, and I'll be right there. You were probably in school years ago when your nice English teacher taught you to say these words.
Wrong.
All contain vowel sounds that consonants can transform into horrible, horrible monsters. We are hunting down consonants starting with the letter L. Say these words to yourself really quick.
Real, girl, milk, roll, cool.
Did you say them like I did? If not, it's because when the letter L comes at the end of a word, you want to make sure of these things. The tip of your tongue is down. The back of your tongue is high. There is enough air moving through your throat. It's like a consonant sound becomes a vowel sound like Let's try them again then, shall we? Real, girl, milk, raw, cool. Hear all that breath. Real and cool, by the way, have
long vowel sounds.
That's important because long vowels, when they connect with the letter L, have a slightly
different
sound. Compare.
Really? real, really, real. Notice that the long vowel pronounces the vowel sound and then adds in all sound. Here are examples of major long vowels with L's attached. Style, stale, steal, spoil, stool. Don't get nervous if you hear a D come after the L sound either. Keep your vowel the same in pairs like these. Ball, bald, saw, sawed, call, called.
Could we do that faster?
Ball, bald, saw, sawed, call, called. Ball, bald, saw, sold, call, called.
It's not just the L that's after your English, though.
The letter N is horrible at leaving your words in an awful mess to clean up. Lone, moon, pain. If you said lowen, mooin, or payin, it's a problem. You don't need to add an extra vowel sound before the letter N. It's just lone, moon, pain, lone, lowen, moon, mooin, pain, payin. Or maybe this is the problem. How do you say this? If you say you are raising your placement up here and closing off your throat. Not enough air is making it through, and you might actually be carrying that onto your vowel sound as well. Try to take the sound down and get more air through your throat too. Compare and pain, pain, lone, lone, moon, moon. But if you found all of those words easy, this one might just get you. City. Or did you say city? The problem, city ends on this E sound, but it starts with an I sound, the short I. So make sure that you can switch like this without any issues in your speech. E, I, E, I, E, I. Or the opposite. I, E, I, E, I, E. Then we can add a fast D sound in the middle. Itty, itty, itty. Now the full word, city. Some other common words that have this short I, E combination to practice. Pretty, pretty, busy, busy, really, really. But maybe I've saved the hardest sound for last. Yeah. The schwa sound, what you say when you're thinking. Chances are high it's not pronounced how you think it is, but it's the most important sound in English, and you want to get it right in this video. Check, check. There we go. Okay, let's make sure that. Calm down, Emmanuel. I know. I'm checking things. Hang on, buddy. Okay. in theory, you should be able to hear this now. Is that better? Worse? No, it's okay. Okay, cool. If that doesn't help with the quality of the stream, not much can do right now, unfortunately. It's just gonna have to be. It is what it is. Not much I have control over. That's about all I have control over right now. Hopefully it's a little better. Okay, before we get to files, one last question. Hello, this is Beta checking in. Good to see you. And Mr. Go Big Go Home asked a question. Okay. What does quote unquote mean? Is it quote unquote or quote unquote with the UN? Good question. So it's going to be unquote, the UN plus quote, just a note there. And then, yeah, it means like, kind of like almost like the phrase kind of like so-called, or just kind of like, it may not be how you really feel, but maybe how like other people would describe something. That's kind of what it means. My biggest suggestion would be to go to like Youglish and just type that in, like quote unquote, just to see lots of different examples of how native speakers are using the phrase, because I think that will be able to get at it much better than anything I'll be able to kind of give you here, in all honesty. Internet's using the Wi-Fi. I want to check one other thing really quick, and then we'll be able to get going. 1 second. Give that 1 sec. Hook up. Okay. Try that. That might actually make things better. Okay, it might take a second to kick in. Thanks to Emmanuel for giving me updates. Emmanuel's doing the good work here today, keeping us posted. He's our producer in the back today. Okay, I think that wraps up everything. Thank you guys for your patience. I know it's been a heavy delay. We'll try to get right into people's files from this moment on, and so let's kick it off. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not Lido, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? Okay. Hopefully the connection is a little better now. If it's not, I tried. Let's get into people's stuff. Give me a second to share my screen and everything. And we'll get right at it. Okay, if anything, this gave you some more time to submit your audio files. All right, maybe. Taking a second. Try one more time. Manuel says better now. Cool. That's what's up. And of course, it doesn't want to load the screen. Oh my gosh, today is the day. Give me 1 second. I'm going to retry that connection. There we go. Okay. Got it. Make that a little bigger. Put it on the other screen. Okay. We're going to make it. The internet doesn't want us to make it, but we're going to make it. Let's take a listen to
Oh, you mean
this
the
file.
printer, right? Well, I wouldn't want to call it broken. Let's just say it's a bit slow. Just like pretty much everything else around here.
Dak. Manuel taking digs at people and things. Play it one more time.
Oh, you mean the printer, right? Well, I wouldn't want to call it broken. Let's just say it's a bit slow. Just like pretty much everything else around here.
Okay. All right, Caesar Beta has a quick question. So today is the day is negative. Today is my day is positive. Like the phrase, like today is the day. Today is the day can be anything. Like if there's something bad's about to happen, it could be bad if something's good. Like today's the day we get to go to Disney World or something like that. Um, if you want to make that negative, you would say today's not my day. Like today's not my day. That means that things are not going well. You just want to go back to bed and try again tomorrow. That would be my big suggestion there. Hopefully that helps. Okay, let's listen back to that file, get some thoughts.
Oh, you mean the printer, right?
I like the tag question, like the printer, right? I like that. I want to hear the O part at the beginning.
Oh, you mean the. Oh, you mean.
Oh, you mean the? I do think you get a little bit more breath on the O. It's not bad, but it does feel slightly tight to me.
Oh, you mean the printer, right? Oh, you mean the printer, right?
I like the removal of the T on printer. You can't say printer, but printer is probably going to be way more frequent. So I approve of that decision.
Printer, right? Well, I want.
I like that well as well. So it's not like well, it's more just like well. It's common reduction for that.
Well, I wouldn't want to call it broken.
I like the wouldn't want to call it as well.
Printer, right? Well, I wouldn't want to call it broken.
I will say broken. We're getting into the oh sound. Like I wouldn't want to call it broken versus I wouldn't want to call it broken. Again on that O sound, just trying to get more air through on the diphthong.
I wouldn't want to call it broken.
You can hear also the placement immediately kind of jumps up. Like for the wouldn't want to call it, that was pretty low and open.
Well, I wouldn't want to call it.
Like I wouldn't want to call it. I wouldn't want to call it. That was pretty open and low. I like that. But then as soon as we get to broken, it kind of shifts up a little bit.
I wouldn't want to call it broken.
Wouldn't want to call it bro versus wouldn't want to call it broken. Just a note there.
Let's just say it's a bit slow.
Yeah, I think the big consistency here is that O sound, that O diphthong. We saw that with the beginning O sound. We saw it broken. Same thing with slow. We're kind of overemphasizing the diphthong a bit. And one of the things that we consistently see with American English pronunciation versus a lot of languages is that in American English, when you're pronouncing diphthongs, very commonly what happens is that the way a lot of languages do it for a diphthong is you hear the first vowel sound and you hear the second vowel sound, like oh. But I think one of the things we see with American English instead is that we kind of want to squeeze everything into a single vowel sound. So just oh. So instead oh, bro, we want to do more oh, bro, or oh, slow. So it's not slow, it's more slow. So just a note there. Try not to exaggerate the vowel too much. I think it's going to be helpful.
Broken. Let's just say it's a bit slow.
Slow versus slow. Let's just say it's a bit. You could also even go lower in pitch on slow.
Broken. Let's just say it's a bit slow.
Slow versus slow. Let's just say it's a bit slow. So again, you could even take that lower if you want it.
Just like pretty much everything else around here.
I would have liked something to be heavier stressed in that last part, personally. This entirely could be personal preference, but I would go heavier on the stress on something. But what? There's so many options. What would we stress?
Slow. Just like pretty much everything else around here.
I probably would have stressed else. Just like pretty much everything else around here. Just like pretty much everything else around here. Everything else around here. Just something like that. Convey just a little bit more. Give it a little more oomph.
Slow. Just like pretty much everything else around here.
It's like, oh, everything else versus everything else around here. Again, so I would stress else there. All right, so lots of good movements, but the big thing I think for that file is going to be trying to work on that O sound. So again, O. One of the things you can see when I'm saying O. Notice that my mouth's not doing a whole lot of movement. Okay, it's just kind of like straight lips. So it's not like oh, oh. It's more just and that's going to be helpful. So trying to minimize the movement, lots of breath flowing through. These are the real big keys there. Okay, thanks to Emmanuel for sending that file. We appreciate you. We're going to jump on to our next one. Try to catch up a little bit on time. Make sure I got the right one there.
So my daily routine starts with waking up and making a nice breakfast. In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning. That's a very important part of my day. And if I don't eat well, I won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day.
Oh no. All right, I can understand that. Breakfast is my favorite meal, guys. Breakfast is like it's the meal of the gods. It's important part of your day. Hope you eat breakfast. Let me know what you guys eat for breakfast. Are you a yogurt person? Are you just a coffee person? Or are you just like, no, I just do lunch?
So my daily routine starts with waking up and making a nice breakfast. In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning. That's a very important part of my day. And if I don't eat well, I won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day.
Okay. Thanks to Sycamore for sending us that file. Let's kind of play it again and give some general thoughts on this. Here is the script.
So my daily routine starts with waking up and making a nice breakfast.
So my daily routine starts with waking up and making a nice breakfast. That's kind of the pattern you're using there, right? So my daily routine starts with waking up.
So my daily routine starts with waking up.
Yeah, so my daily routine starts with waking up. That's not necessarily a wrong pattern, but I do think it's one that's less frequent. So something I would do is I would try to mix this up a little bit more. What could we say? So my daily routine starts with waking up. So my daily routine. So that's going to be the big thing. So you have like two thought groups there. So my daily routine, first thought group, starts with waking up. Kind of based on how you're reading it, it seems like you have two thought groups. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. So that's what I'm going to base this on. So my daily routine starts with waking up. So one of the things that's going to be helpful here is as you switch from one thought group to the next, changing your pitch level, because right now we're a little bit similar.
So my daily routine starts with waking up.
You're keeping everything kind of at the same level. So my daily routine started waking up, but let's see what happens. Let's just do some quick experiments. Let's maybe start high and then go down on the second thought group. So my daily routine starts with waking up. So my daily routine starts with waking up. Do you hear how my pitch went lower on the starts with waking up? So my daily routine starts with waking up. Let's do the opposite. Let's maybe start low and then go high. So my daily routine starts with waking up. So my daily routine starts with waking up. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how you could add a little bit more movement. So it sounds a little bit less flat.
So my daily routine starts with waking up and making a nice breakfast.
And make a nice breakfast. So you did have the pitch kind of go down for that second thought group,
Making a
which was
nice
good.
breakfast.
Breakfast. You can even get a little more short eye, a little more open, a little more breath on that fist. Breakfast. But that wasn't bad.
And making a nice breakfast.
Making it nice. I like the linking there. Making it nice. Very smooth. We'll keep rolling.
In fact, I never skip a
In fact.
breakfast. In fact, I never.
In fact versus in fact. You need more of an ah sound. This is the ah, for instance, like in cat or bath. Fact. So it's not fact. It's more fact. That's a big vowel sound for lots of different language groups. That's also a big vowel sound for people who have more of that British English training versus that American English training, because that ah sound doesn't really exist in British English. So if you're trying to transition, that ah is very important to study. So fact.
In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning.
In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning. Good progression there with the pitches. I like that.
In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning.
I never skip. Okay, so I like what you're stressing. Never. It's like I never skip a meal.
I never skip a meal in.
And one of the things that is happening is you're not stressing skip, which is good. You're stressing never, and I think that's a very natural stress. I like that stress on never. I never skip a meal. I never skip a meal. One of the things that you're doing is you're hiding your short I sound on skip, because you're not actually saying skip. You're saying skip. You're giving me more of an E sound.
In fact, I never skip a meal.
Never skip a meal. I never skip a meal. But you're saying it reduced and fast. So that means that people don't kind of catch it unless they're really listening for it, like I am.
In fact, I never skip a meal in the
I never skip a meal. I never skip a meal. Versus I never skip a meal. So just continue watching out for that short I sound on skip because I do think you're giving me more of an E sound, like skeep.
morning. That's a very important part of my day.
In fact, I never skip a meal in the morning. You can hear your breath.
That's a very important part of my
Do that. That's a very. I never skip a meal in the
in
morning.
the morning. That's a very important part of my day.
And it's not wrong to breathe. Please breathe. We all need to breathe. That's an important part of staying with us. But what I will say is that I think this is the opportunity where you can pause, but maybe not take in a breath, but instead see if you can push a little bit more because that's going to help you link to your next thought group even more. Because right now, this sounds a little choppy. It sounds like you're reading.
Never skip a meal in the morning. That's a very important part of my day.
You're kind of doing it. I never skip a meal in the morning. That's a very important part of my day. Versus, I never skip a meal in the morning. That's a very important part of my day. Do you hear how that just sounds a little bit more fluid? So, just because one thought group ends or a sentence ends doesn't necessarily mean you want to take a breath in. Maybe instead, you want to see if you can push a little further with your breath and just see where that goes. Because I do think that could have been linked a little bit more smoothly.
Morning. That's a very important part of my day. If I
want to hear that very important part.
That's a very important part of my day.
Very important part of my day. Which is fine. I think that sounds fine, but I would have liked more contrast with the pitches. That's a very, that's a very important part of my day. That's a very important part of my day. Or that's a very important part of my day. It depends on what you want to stress. Right now, your stress word is just it's kind of blending in with the other words. But instead, if you had added, a single word to be stressed, that would have given your sentence here a little bit more nuance.
That's a very important part of my day.
Because it just sounds very flat. That's a very important part of my day. 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 Do you hear how those all sound a little bit more nuanced with the pitch changes there?
Part of my day. If I don't eat well,
watch out again for short
part
I.
of my day. If I don't eat
If versus NF. Okay, so watch out again for that short I sound on if. So it's not indif, it's more NF I.
part of my day. If I don't eat well,
I thought you did a good job of after that short I sound to lower the placement. Good job. That can be tricky. It's hard when your placement goes high to then send it down. But I thought you did that pretty effectively right there, which is good.
if I don't eat well, I won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day.
Won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day. What are you stressing?
If I don't eat well, I won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day.
Properly during the rest of the day. You could even take that second part lower. Properly during the rest of the day. Properly during the rest of the day. Properly during the rest of the day. Won't be able to function properly during the rest of the day. So I would have maybe taken that second part even lower. Properly during the rest of the day. See how low I'm going? Okay, so just kind of playing around with that. Sycamore, if you have any questions about anything I mentioned there, let me know. But thanks for sending that file. We appreciate you. Okay. I know some things came in that are important. All my audio files are playing at once. Oh my gosh. Why am I up here? I want to be down. There we go. Okay, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. This is the Schwa Mill, where every single Saturday we take a look at pronunciation files that you send us. That way we can help you sound even more natural in American English next time you talk. Some people are sharing what they're doing for breakfast. I mentioned what I like to do. So, guys, check this out. This is really important information. We're gonna let you know, what does Jeff eat for breakfast. Typically, what I eat for breakfast is I cut up some mango. We have some frozen mango. I cut up some mango. We have some frozen blueberries, like the tiny blueberries, the wild blueberries, and then I get some yogurt and I mix them. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. And if I really want breakfast, then we get some pancakes going, we get some eggs, we get some grits, maybe a little sausage, some maple syrup. Oh my gosh, it's so good, guys. It's so good. Some other breakfast things we got going on. Bread, olive. Oh, you want the salty breakfast. Look at you. Cheese, scrambled egg, and tea. Arabic tea. You posted on that. Emmanuel says they're a BLT kind of guy. Those carbs will put me to sleep. All the bread and things put me to sleep. Finn going right for the question. I was taught that T is a glow stop before an H, but when I hear people say, "What happened?" With the flap T, the same happens. In you, not her. It's like not her, or not how it works. The beautiful thing about T sounds is there's so much flexibility. You know, sometimes you'll hear a flap T, sometimes you'll hear a held T. Is one right or was one wrong? Nope. You can use whatever kind of feels comfortable. You're going to hear all kinds of variations. You can say not her. You can say, what were some of those other examples you mentioned? You can say not her. You can say what happened. Or you can say not her. You can say what happened. You'll hear both. There's a lot of flexibility. There are no set rules. Anytime someone tells you this is the only way, be careful with them. We got important questions here. Edward, bringing questions. Are you a vegan, Emmanuel? This sounds almost accusatory. Are you one of them? Is that you? Hello to Lily. Thanks for being with us, Lily. I don't know who the dude from McDonald's. I don't know what that means. We're talking American English pronunciation. Thanks for being with us. Good to see you. If you have a pronunciation question, interested in American English, sure, let me know. Let me know. Other things going on. Louise is here. Hello, Louise. From the inside of his car. From the Dominican Republic. Hey, Louise, we have to throw down some dominoes sometime. You'll beat me, but I enjoy playing Dominican dominoes. Let's go. Finn wants to clarify. I'm not talking about dropping the H. I'm talking about the T is released before the. Yeah. I understand 100%. I think I have one more comment about that. I mean, it says McDonald's people are back. I don't know what this McDonald's thing is. B stands for bacon, which I can say is a very healthy way to start your day. You know, I've heard stories like people living in their hundreds, and you ask them, what was your diet? I ate bacon and sausage every morning for the last 50 years. Other things, Emmanuel says, getting hungry. Yeah, because breakfast should make you hungry. Talking about breakfast definitely should. Shoke says, yes. I appreciate the salty stuff. I'm a savory person. Sweet, I can do sweets, but I definitely appreciate more the salt. I don't know. He was talking about a channel. I mean, maybe. I don't even know who the guy is. I don't even know the man. Don't even know the man. Louis says, yes, let's play drought. Okay, let's go. We are going to play. It's going to be over. We are going to fight. It's going to go. We're going to win. Yes. All right. Am I caught up? I think I'm caught up on comments. I don't know. Hope I am. If I miss your comment, let me know. I'll try to get to it. But you guys aren't here to hear me ramble. That's my wife's job. No, just kidding. Let's get back to some more things. Push myself to the side. Load up. Man, screen share is having a hard time today. All kinds of technical things coming up. Going to try take two. And also try to put this maybe a little bit more on my desk. Okay. Check things really quick. Hopefully we're still good. If you guys can still hear me, let me know. That'll be helpful. Check, check, check. Yeah, this should be good. All right. Let's try sharing again. And Edward says they are not accusing anyone, to be clear. Okay. Here we go. Take two. Sharing. Maybe gonna do it. It's not inside enough. It's weird because it's clearly registering my screen on my end, but it's just for some reason not. There we go. That makes me suspicious. Well, hopefully you guys can hear this okay. This is the file we just heard, right? Is this a new one?
Girl.
Oh, no, this is Shoke. Okay, let's listen to Shoke's file. Get her text up. Give me a moment. Okay, so this is what we are about to hear. And 1 second. Bam. Shok, send us a book. All right, let's take a listen to this.
It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl on her way back home holding a water tank on her head. Suddenly, a huge African cobra moved up from the bushes towards her, face to face, that she fell on her knee and screamed, "Oh my lord! Save me from this devil, I beg you." The cobra madly moved down and back to the bushes. The girl was sweating and weeping until she reached home safely.
Okay, thanks, Shok. Send us a story. That's what's up. All right. Take a listen to this again.
It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl on her way back home.
Okay, so I'm going to pause there just for a moment because this is. No, did I lose it? Grr. I don't know what's going on with the connection today. Give me 1 second to adjust that. Power thing. As I'm scrambling to adjust that, some quick things on this part here. What I will say is that it sounds a little bit flat to me. And when I say flat, I mean that it feels like all the pitches are kind of doing kind of the same thing, thought group to thought group. To give an example again,
It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl on her way back home.
what's happening is every single thought group is going back to the same kind of pitch register. It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl was on her way back home. So, like inside of each thought group, we do have some movement going on, but the problem is from thought group to thought group, we're staying the same. There's again a million ways to do it, but the general idea is that when you change a thought group, you want to have some sort of movement, whether you're going a little lower or you're going a little bit higher. You can choose. You have some options here, but you want to have some more movement.
It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl.
It's like it's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl. You could do like it's 2 p.m. and then you go down and a 10-year-old girl. It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl. Do you hear the difference? Or it's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old girl. Do you hear what we're doing with pitch? Again, we're moving from one thought group to the next. We're just taking things higher, a little lower. So that's going to be something that's going to be very, very helpful.
It's 2 p.m. and a 10-year-old.
You can also get more linking on that part. It's not 10-year-old, more 10-year-old, 10-year-old. Just try to flow a little bit more with that.
Girl on her way back home holding a water tank on.
Again, we're getting into this very flat. On her way back home holding a water tank. On her way back home holding a water tank. On her way back home, then we drop. Holding a water tank. On her way back home, holding a water tank. Or maybe the opposite. On her way back home, holding a water tank.
On her head. Suddenly.
This is an opportunity to really shift things up. You're telling a story, right? So, telling a story, I want you to be invested in your story. This suddenly is really important because now we have a shift in the action. So, I would have stressed that way harder. Suddenly, high pitch, things like that. Suddenly.
On her head. Suddenly.
Because this is a little bit too flat.
A huge African cobra.
Again, we're telling a story, and when you're telling a story, we have to be able to kind of push the emotion a little bit more. Okay, listen to people telling stories. Listen to the great storytellers, of our time, and you're just going to hear so much more variation. Like suddenly, a huge African cobra, like something like that. I would have stressed huge, and I would have gone a lot more exaggerated with the pitch. A huge African cobra.
A huge African cobra.
And I also think the rising intonation is kind of killing your energy. Huge African cobra versus a huge African cobra moved up from the bushes. Something like that, I think is going to keep your energy. Rising intonation, a lot of times when you're talking, kind of kills your momentum and your energy, whereas falling intonation adds a lot more urgency. makes things sound stronger. So I would have opted for falling intonation at that part.
A huge African cobra
Because it makes it sound like a question. A huge African cobra, maybe, or maybe it was just a iguana. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it adds some doubt.
moved up from the
Watch out for your schwa sound up. So it's not op. It's more up. Moved up, moved up,
bushes towards her.
moved up from the bushes towards her. You're a lot of stresses, so I would cut some of those out.
Moved up
You're stressing
from
up.
the bushes towards her.
So you're stressing cobra, up, bushes, her. That's a lot of stresses in a very short amount of time, which can work if you have enough pitch changes and things. But I probably would have smoothed that out more, fewer stresses. Huge African cobra moved up from the bushes towards her. Moved up from the bushes towards her. Move stressing towards.
Moved up from the bushes towards her.
Just a quick a note on towards as well. You can say towards, that's fine, but the much more frequent way you're going to hear that in North America is more towards. Towards. One syllable, not two. So say 2 words, more just towards.
Face to face. That she fell on her knee.
I think you mean she fell. She fell on her knees. She fell. I would have stressed fell. I would have gone higher with the thought group. That she fell on her knees.
And screamed, "Oh!"
Fell on her knees and screamed. That second thought group fell on her knees. Then a new thought group, and I would have gone lower. Fell on her knees and screamed. And one of the reasons I go lower on the screamed, because you're about to have dialogue. And that dialogue you go high pitch on, and that's cool. So by going lower on the and screamed, that's going to create more contrast with the dialogue. Fell on her knees and screamed, "Oh my lord!" You know, it just adds a lot more contrast.
That she fell on her knee and screamed, "Oh my lord!
Good.
Save me from this devil, I beg you."
Cool. I like that. Beg, you could hold your vowel a little longer. It's that S sound like in best or get or red. S, it's not beg, it's more beg, beg. I beg you, I beg you.
Me from this devil, I beg you. The cobra madly moved down and back to the bushes.
Again, more contrast. The cobra madly moved down and back to the bushes. The cobra madly moved down. That's my first thought group, so I'm up here. The cobra madly moved down, and then I shift things lower and move back to the bushes. The cobra madly moved down and move back to the bushes.
Girl was sweating and weeping.
The girl was sweating and weeping. When you have these sorts of patterns like sweating, weeping, try not to put them both at the same pitch. Try to shift it a little bit just to add more nuance and contrast. The girl was sweating and weeping, or you could say the girl was sweating and weeping. You know, just make them sound a little different in terms of their pitch register.
Until she reached home safely.
Okay, those are gonna be my big comments there. Thanks to Shok for sending us this file. We appreciate you as always. Always appreciate a story as well. Okay. One quick thing too, guys. As we do our practice today, hopefully you're already getting some value. So if you want to help me out, you can like what you're hearing. Let us know by liking and subscribing. But you may also be realizing, hey, this is helpful. I'm learning things about pronunciation, but maybe I didn't send in a file. Or maybe you're like, hey, this is just a Saturday. This is just one time. It's hard to change your pronunciation with just, 5 minutes once a week when you look at my file. What else can we do to study pronunciation? Well, I just want to kind of let you know about some different opportunities that we have. Then we'll go back and look more at your files. So one of the big things that we have is a group called Mission English, which you can find on our website. If you go to fluentamerican.com, you can see it. Oh, there's the finger. It's searching. There it is. I found it. It's there. It's right there. Okay. And once you do that, if you scroll down, you're going to see that we have this thing called Mission English, which is basically 30-minute pronunciation classes that we hold Monday through Friday, 2 times a day. Just to kind of run through the highlights for you. Okay. So it's in a private Facebook group. So only members get to join us. The live streams are basically, it's me and then it's you. You're like over there. You're right there. And then a max of 2 or 3 other students with you on screen with me, and we're doing pronunciation classes together. So like you can bring in a question, and we talk about your question. We listen to native speakers and try to copy what they're doing. We look at difficult vowel sounds. We look at placement. We look at breath. We look at pitches. We look at weakening consonant sounds. We look at everything you need to sound natural American English twice a day, Monday through Friday. Each class is 30 minutes long. The nice thing about the classes too is they're all recorded. So that way we do something in class that you think is helpful. So then after class, you can watch our same class again. You can hear yourself and you can hear the other students and do the exercises together. If this sounds like something that interests you even in the slightest, let's just take a look at what our schedule's like. Okay, so this is what we do every single week. So on Mondays, we meet at 1:30 p.m. and 8 o'clock. Tuesdays, we meet at 9:30 in the morning and 1:30 p.m. All these times are New York times. Okay, we're trying to be able to adjust to different time zones. Okay, Wednesday, 9:30 and 8 o'clock. Thursday, we have conversation class, meet again at 8 p.m. And Friday, 9:30 and 1:30. So each of these classes, 30 minutes long. You sign up once and you get access to all of those classes and all the previous classes. Right now, we're probably about like 350 different pronunciation classes. We're getting up to like a class a week. I mean, a class a day. Sign up now, you get almost a year's worth of classes already. The other thing that I think is really helpful about this is that it's a group setting. And I know a lot of people are like, no, but I want to study pronunciation by myself. But the problem with that is that when you study pronunciation on your own, you don't know what you sound like. So it's like in class, I tell you to do something and then you do it. And then I tell you, no, your placement's wrong, or no, we need more breath. And then you might tell me, oh, okay, Jeff, sure. But then in your head, you're like, Jeff, I sounded just like you. I did the same thing you did. But then you listen to the recording and you're like, oh no, I sound way different than I thought I did. One of the advantage of the group classes is, instead of going through the entire class not knowing what you sound like, you can hear other people and you can hear my feedback for them. So that way you get an understanding, oh, that's what it sounds like if I don't have enough breath, or that's what it sounds like if my placement's too high, or that's what it sounds like if my linking's not right. All of those sorts of things. So you actually end up learning a little bit faster in a group setting than you do one-on-one. So those are all aspects of our Mission English program. If you have questions about it, be sure to let me know. It'll be great to work with you every single day. And the other thing too is, of course, what you're paying. This is what people charge for like one class, or sometimes they charge even more than that. But if you pay this, you actually get up to 40 classes. So, I mean, pick your poison. Other pronunciation classes too, they don't talk about what we talk about. No one talks about placement. No one talks about pitch. No one talks about breath, even though these are the things that really change your pronunciation. Emmanuel does ask a question. I saw writing class canceled for today. Are we good for tomorrow though? Yes, things are good. So I will be back 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yes, thank you for asking. Writing classes, we get at least 5 of those a month as well. So just some things to consider. Want to help you guys out. And this is the thing that's going to elevate your English the fastest. Okay. So Beta asks a question. Do you know any websites for short clips in English? Youglish is helpful if you're looking for specific vocab or specific phrases and things like that. My shadowing channel is helpful. We're taking basically 2 to 3 minute clips and then giving you shadowing practice. If you go to my thing might freak out when I do this. One moment. I think we're okay. So one of the things, if you're interested in practicing shadow, okay, here we go. So go youtube.com/@fluentamericanshadowing. We're basically taking short clips from native speakers and then giving you opportunities to repeat and things like that. Thanks to Emmanuel for the shout out on that. Okay, so if you're looking for some shadowing practice, I mean, we got like 30 different native speakers to talk to there that you can listen to, and we're always adding more. I'm hoping to get another one out this week. So I would definitely look at that. Besides that, I mean, just using YouTube and just like picking like a 2 minute, 1 to 2 minute section of a video that you enjoy, and just playing that over and over again. These are all things that I would recommend. Find things that interest you. I think I hits everything. You guys have other questions? Sure, let me know. Let's get back into files.
If
Who's
money were an
this?
object, I would buy a house by the beach.
Okay. Marcos. Sharing the vision. Okay. Want to send us some in real life English practice too, which I'm curious about. I think this was Marcos's file. Listen to this again.
If money were an object, I would buy a house by the beach.
I really like your pitch at the end, by the beach. That lower pitch, very good.
If money were an object, I would buy a house by the beach.
Okay. In general, I think it sounds pretty good. So anything I say right now is really going to be more about just adding some more contrast and things like that. But I think the general way you're saying this is pretty good. So just consider this more of another option. Because I would like more contrast. You basically have 3 thought groups.
If money were an object, I would buy a house by the beach.
Your first thought group is money were no object, then I would buy a house, and then you would buy the beach. So those are your 3 thought groups. So what we could do is add a little bit more contrast between each of those thought groups.
If money were an object,
Okay, so you're starting high, so I think that's fine. If money were no object, you can even take it higher on money if you want. If money were no object, then our second thought group.
If money were an object, I would buy a house.
I would buy a house. I would buy a house. I would buy a house. So I would try to go a little bit lower on the I would buy a house. If money were no object, I would buy a house, and then go lower on by the
I would
beach.
buy a house by the beach.
I would go even lower by the beach. By the beach. If money were no object, I would buy a house by the beach. If money were no object, I would buy a house by the beach. Just adding a little bit more contrast between each of those stock groups. Besides that,
If money were an object, I would buy.
Being very
Money were
nitpicky.
an object.
Object. I do think our placement goes up a little bit on that object versus object. If money were no object, try to get more of that S sound again, like in best or get.
Money were an object.
Did object versus object. If money were no object,
I would buy a house by the beach.
but that's kind of just the only thing that's standing out for me. So the big thing there is just going to be contrast. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. It's a short file, but I liked it. Good stuff to Marcos. Thank you for sending that. We appreciate you.
You don't need to control every minute of my life. Yes, I do. That is my job. And your job is to go to school and learn.
Okay. People add into dialogue and stories and things like that. That's what's up. Oh, but now I need to find the file again. Oh no, I lost it. No, not that one. Maybe that one. This was Shokes?
It's 2
Yes,
p.m.
that was
and
Shokes. Okay. So is that first one? Is this one?
You don't need to control every minute of my life. Yes, I do. That is my job. And your job is to go to school and learn.
Okay, thanks for sending us this file. This is great. One of the things with dialogue, so you have multiple characters here, and I can feel you getting into it, which is great. Take it a step further. Think of like I don't know if you ever listen to audiobooks, but one of the things they do in audiobooks is whenever they switch perspectives or they switch characters, they have shifts. They just change maybe one character is going to talk like right here. Maybe one character will be a little higher. Usually they don't go this high, but things like that. So I would really try to kind of approach this from a character standpoint. Try to make these voices for the different characters sound more distinct.
You don't need to control every minute of my life.
Okay. I'm listening to the stresses.
You don't need to control every minute of my life.
Okay, so you have 2 thought groups that you're using. You don't need to control every minute of my life. You don't need to control every minute of my life. Like, I think if you want the frustration to come out, you might actually even want more stresses. I know I rarely say that. Like, oh my gosh, Jeff actually wants more stresses. Why would you want more stresses? It's like that's the wrong answer usually, right? Adding more stresses. But no, actually, I think having more stresses here might add a little bit more emphasis.
You don't need to control every.
Okay. Other things that like you don't need the control. It's like I like what you're doing here. The heavy stress on need, you're going really high in pitch. I like that. You don't need. I would try to go a little lower on control. You don't need the control.
Need to control every
I think we get a little stuck placement wise. And another reason why I can kind of tell that's happening is because listen to how you're saying control.
need to control every
Control. You're getting that kind of rolled R sound. In fact, one of our relatively recent videos, I think within the last month, was talking about rolled R's. A lot of that has to do with placement. If you feel like you're doing, in general, American English doesn't like rolled R's. We can't roll our tongues. Americans are horrible at rolling their tongues in general. So one of the ways that you roll your tongue, though, is by shifting your placement a lot of times farther forward. So this is kind of telling me that our placement is probably like around here. It could also be that your dark L sound, you're not actually using a dark L. Tip of your tongue might be up here. So kind of ask yourself, when you say control, is your tongue pressing against your bottom front tooth or is it touching against your top front tooth? And that's going to have a pretty big impact on the sound. I would recommend trying to have it instead against your bottom front tooth. Control. And try to keep your placement low. It's like need to control. It's like control. The other thing that's going to help too is trying to get more air through your diaphragm. Okay, you can see me on the side cam. If you're not sure what your diaphragm is like right around here. Okay, and these are your lungs. And one of the big things with American English is that you want your diaphragm to basically constantly be engaging. So as you talk in American English, you should feel like your diaphragm slowly contracting and moving in. Control. Hear all that breath coming through and things like that. So I think that as you're going through, trying to really try to get more air through your diaphragm, try to feel a little bit of tension in your diaphragm when you're saying control. You don't need the control. So again, not tro, more tro. It's also like a ch with an r after it. It's like ch, then tra, ch, tra, tro, control. It's kind of the progression you can use to study a little bit. You don't need the control. You don't need to control every minute of my life. Like, you don't need to control every minute of my life. Like something like that. Every minute.
control every minute of my life.
I would go a little heavier on every. Like, you don't need to control every minute of my life. Like, every minute. I would go a little heavier on every and then also stress minute. Every minute of my life. And maybe go down in pitch more on the of my life. Also, a falling intonation on life will make this sound heavier as well.
Minute of my life. Yes.
Of my life. Heavier falling intonation of my life. Every minute of my life. Lower pitch, heavier falling intonation will make this sound a lot more frustrated. You don't need to control every minute of my life. You don't need to control every minute of my life. You don't need to go as high in pitch on minute.
Control every minute of my life.
Because right now you don't need to control every minute of my life. Versus you don't need to control every minute of my life. So just some notes there on that first part. I do like what you're doing with the pitches in general, especially on need. That's great. Really pushing the high pitch. Now we also need to pitch, get some lower pitches in there too.
Of my life. Yes, I do.
Very tense there on do. You can hear do versus do. Your placement's really high. And again, we're not really using our diaphragm. Your lungs are doing a lot of work. So do. Okay. And if everything I'm talking about breath-wise is tricky, again, this is something that we talk about in our course. Or we also have videos that you can find if you just go to the channel and search for breath. But these are things we talk about in the 4-step American accent course, which is free and which you can find at fluentamerican.com. So if you're finding the breath stuff tricky, I'll definitely consider that.
Minute of my life. Yes, I do.
There's other ways to add contrast too. I know we talk a lot about pitch, but pitch is not the only tool for contrast. Another tool you can use is speed. So, for instance, you have this child who's really frustrated. Like, you don't need to control every minute of my life. And then you have this mom who's maybe also frustrated, but also trying to like express her side in a way that's compassionate, So, the child maybe is talking fast. You don't need to control every minute of my life. And then maybe the mom's trying to calm down. Like, yes, I do. Like something like that. So that could have been another way to change your character's perspective And maybe the mom feels a different way. You might be like, no, the mom's also frustrated. She's mad too. So you kind of decide that for your characters. But one way, again, you could add contrast is maybe change the speed and change the register. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like, you don't need to control every minute of my life. Yes, I do. That's my job. Like something like that. So like maybe the child is this really fast talker and the mom's talking slow and things like that. So this just helps kind of differentiate the characters a little bit more. And this is just an example. There's other ways you could do that too, but just kind of something to consider is also paying attention to speed.
Yes, I do.
Yes, do. Again, do. One of the things too, if you're worried about that placement, another exercise you could do is try saying do, but move it down like 5 times. Like do, 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 do. Do you hear I just went down? Do, 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 do. Just trying to lower that placement. You can also try dragging out like do. Here I just went lower. Do. So we're lowering that placement a little bit. Then when you do that, try to repeat the last one a little bit. It's like do, 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 do. Try and keep it down. Okay. From
I
there,
do. That is my job.
that is my job. I would stress job, not that, personally. That's my job. That is my job. One of the things too that's interesting is you wrote the contraction. You wrote that's, but you said that is. Let me see.
Do. That is my job.
One more time again.
That is my job.
That is my job. This is a very common situation I see with students where, on paper they'll write like the contraction, but then when you actually hear people talk, they're not using the contraction. Like for instance, they'll write like theirs, like with an apostrophe S, but then they actually pronounce there is, but it's not there is, it's theirs. So contractions are really fundamental. If you're trying to get a natural sound, Americans are using contractions all the time. And a lot of times, people who learned English or like people in Europe and things like that are not using contractions and things. So I really would encourage you, if you want to get a more natural sound, start trying to, pick a contraction a day or pick a contraction a week and be like, okay, when I speak in English, I'm really going to try to use this more because it's really going to help you achieve a much more natural sound. So going back to this again, I would really just try to keep that's my job. Like, yes, I do. That's my job. Again, I wrote a recommend stressing job.
Yes, I do. That is my job. And your job is to.
Good job. That's my job. And your job. Do you hear that switch you made pitch wise? I like that. Good contrast.
That is my job. And your job is to go to.
I like that's my job. And your job. I like that switch. That's my job. That's how I would have said that first part. That's my job. But then on that second part, you switch the stress to your. That's a great move. You have a similar pattern, but you switch the stress. So instead of, in your case, you stress that and then you stress your. In my case, I stress job and now I'm stressing your. I like that movement. That's a very natural thing to do.
Your job is to go to school and learn.
And your job is to go to school and learn. Again, some awkward stresses. You just go.
And your job is to go to school and learn.
Go to school. Your job is to go to school and learn. Your job is to go to school and learn. I would have stressed school. I wouldn't have stressed go. I would go lower pitch on go. And your job is to go to school and learn. Go to school and then drop the next thought group and learn. Go to school and learn. Your job is to go to school and learn. You don't need to control every minute of my life. Yes, I do. That's my job. And your job is to go to school and learn. Something like that. All right, lots of time on that file. If you have any questions for me about anything I said there, sure let me know. But thank you so much for sending that file. We appreciate you. Got one more quick file here. Though I do want to highlight Emmanuel saying. Emmanuel saying might be a bit biased because I was in it, but it's a great course. Talking again about the courses that we have. I pinned it alongside Pitch Apprenticeship and Accent Dash. Yep. If you're not sure what those are different video courses that we have. The Pitch Apprenticeship, basically, if you're trying to practice pitch, so we mentioned pitch so often today, and you're like, I still don't kind of really understand pitch. That's what the Pitch Apprenticeship is for. It's a course where basically we look at 9 of the most common pitch patterns that exist in American English. So if you want to find out what are the 9 ways that native speakers talk very, very frequently in speech according to pitch. That's what the pitch apprenticeship is all about. And then lastly, our accent dash course. If you're trying to get used to different stress patterns, help with some of the most difficult sounds, like we talked about the ah sound. If you're like stress patterns, we talk about all kinds of different things. The accent dash course is basically 14 2 to 5 minute videos that you can practice like a video a day just to kind of get yourself into shape, practicing some of the most frequently challenging sounds for English learners. So again, those are just two options that again we have. If you go to fluentamerican.com and you just scroll down. So they're just some options that we have for our video courses for you. I see one last of our original files. Going back to our documents. Dun, 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 dun. I see one more file from the real life conversation. Okay. But in the meantime, let's take a listen to this file. Oh, there's a quick one here.
We came back in.
Okay, audio's a little bit low. I'm gonna try to. I like how they had the original file though. Phoebe. Good to see you, Phoebe. Let's listen to this.
We came back in.
Okay. I want to listen to in. So this is what you're shadowing. This is, I think that sounds like me. Is that me? Is that like little? Is that me? Yeah, look at me. Yeah, did the thing. Okay, and then
We came back in.
do that in versus in. I would try to go a little lower in pitch on in. Try to say in. There's a good chance that the issue is that letter N. Because the letter N is a horrible consonant. If you guys hate the letter N, you can let me know if you find the N to be challenging. I think the letter N is one of the most difficult sounds in American English because it wants to make your placement go high and make everything tense up. Let's hear that again.
We came back in.
It's like back in, back in. It sounds like our pitch is going up. Back in. Came back in. Came back in. So that's how the original audio is going. Came back in. And then this shadowing.
We came back in.
We came back in. It almost feels like we're doing more in than in. And so I would just, this is very subtle, but I would try to get the pitch just a little bit lower. I would also try to add more diaphragm, more breath. Okay. Try just doing, take off the N and say like back in, back in, back in. That's again without the N. It's just back followed by a short I sound. Back, 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 We came back in. We came back, As you get more comfortable with that, then you can add the N back in. So let's just kind of say that a couple times. The first time I'm going to say back, without the N. And then the second time I'm going to say back in. And that's going to be with the N included. So we're going to alternate between those a couple of times. Okay. So like back, back in, back, back in, back, back in, back, back in, back, back in. So I'll just kind of alternate between those again. Try to get those sounding as similar as possible to each other. Don't let the N take over. It wants to, but you're going to fight against it. And you're going to say, no, not today. Today, I am not going to be beaten up by the letter N. If the letter N wants to beat you up, just say no. Just say no. So that's going to be the main thing there. Jiggy, Phoebe, thank you for sending that. We appreciate you. Guys, aside from that, if you want to send in a pronunciation file, this is kind of the last call. This is your warning. This is your warning. If you want to send us a pronunciation file, you are running out of time because we're at like kind of our last minute warning. I want to check out this final file. See what we got here. Well, I don't I don't think I can play that audio file online. But I appreciate them sending us that file. but I don't think I can. We're family friendly, and there are worse things, but it's not quite what we would cover. So if you guys are curious, feel free to listen to the conversation on your own. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, besides that, I don't see anything else. Honestly, I think that's it. Those are the files people sent us. I do want to thank you guys. Thank you so much, because I know that today we had all kinds of technical issues. We had screen shares that weren't screen sharing. We had choppy, crazy visuals going on. We had to restart stuff. We battled today. Sometimes you do things. It's just, guys. There's just this bad news. Sometimes you're talking and like things are just difficult. But we battled today and we survived. So I appreciate all of your optimism and things. Seeing something else. I'm checking one other thing. Of course, if you want to send us a file, I'm checking a file. Hang on. I think this one's better. Still checking a file. Appreciate your patience. Yes. Oh. Checking this out one more time. For real, for real. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't I don't know what's happening, but I guess this one is okay. So
Hey everyone, it's Jeff.
All my troubles seem so far.
Okay, alright.
all right, so we have one last file. One last file to go through. So this file, if you have never seen us before, this one is definitely going to be a little bit different than things you may have expected. But yes, as Emmanuel says, it is time, and yes, it is time. So let us go through what we must go through. Pull this up. Final file for today. And we will all head out. Oh, it helps if I share my audio. Because that definitely did not happen. Definitely did not happen. Take two. And here maybe. Oh man, it's doing the thing again. Let's try this. Okay, this should work. Final file for today. Let's take a listen.
Can I get a ranch and a honey mustard?
Somewhere over the rainbow. I like how everyone was staring at me awkwardly.
And can I also get a straw? Thank you. Oh wait, can I say hi to my friend? His name is Honey Mustard. I mean, Fluent American. Oh damn, he ignored me. Well, that's okay. At least I respect you, Fluent American.
Thank you.
Actually, you know what?
This might be a
I
live
got you,
response
brother.
to what I was just saying.
I got you.
See, like, watch us live on this phone.
Hey, yo, attention, everybody. I got a friend, you know what I'm saying? His name is Fluent American. He's a YouTuber. Hey, y'all should go check him out, you know what I'm saying? And make sure to hit that subscribe button so y'all don't miss out on the Saturday live stream. Hey, yo, it's gonna be lit for real, for real.
For real,
Y'all
for
don't wanna
real.
miss out, you feel me? Hey, yo, I'm getting kicked out, yo. Let's go. Hey, yo, stop chasing me, bro.
Well, I don't know what else to say. All right. Thank you to our good friend, the singer, for sending us, as always, some great adventures. It's good to see him back on the live streams. Once more, guys, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. I want to thank you for joining us again on a Saturday. Look, when it comes to American English pronunciation resources, there are thousands, millions of different resources you can turn to. So the fact that you spend a little bit of your time with me on a Saturday, it's like, just means a lot. You know, we appreciate it. Told myself I wouldn't cry today, so I'm going to be strong. But we'll be back next Saturday again at this time, listening to pronunciation files that you send us. Again, we use that Google document, same Google document every single week. So if you're catching us in the future, hello from the past, send us an audio. We'd love to take a listen to it on the next episode of the Schwa Mill. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have a good weekend. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. And